Right. So it depends on, whose story are you telling? I mean, are
Mhm.
you telling your customer's story? Are you telling your story as a business? And what's fascinating is, people will always say, you're not telling your story, you're telling your customer's story. But if you're not ever telling your story, you're going to be confused as to whose story you're really telling, because you have to tell your story, because that's how people connect with you. People connect with the storyteller as much as the story.
Mhm.
And so as a business, if you can be constantly being a storyteller of yourself and your customers, I think it creates a whole world of content for you to explore. The stories of your employees, the stories of the way that your business has changed the lives of your customers, the stories of your customers, whether they've been affected or not. There's a
Mhm.
whole, like I said, world of information out there. Yeah, digital mediums are interesting because I don't think it's just your one thing anymore. As a filmmaker, you're more than just a visual storyteller. You're constantly telling stories in multiple mediums. And I think the the thing with digital mediums is that you're doing everything. You're writing, you're producing, you're directing, you're podcasting, you're updating websites. I mean, it's infinitely more complicated in a digital format, because the barriers to entry is so low and the technology is so accessible now that most people can actually do so much with so little. It's pretty
Mhm.
unbelievable compared from, when I started in 2006, HD hadn't really taken off yet, HD video. I was still using standard definition video, which, I did a lot of great work with it, but at the same time, it was such low quality compared to what's there now. I love asking questions, Greg. I mean, I can't help it. I'm always asking questions. And I think the first thing to do to get better at asking questions is to realize that they don't just magically pop into your head.
Mhm.
Like, you actually have to put some effort into thinking about, what do I want to know? What do I really want to understand? Again, those are questions. You have to start asking questions by asking yourself questions. And also understand, there's two types of questions, generally speaking. There's an open-ended question that gets people talking. So it's
Mhm.
like who, what, when, where, why, and how. But then there's closed-ended questions, yes or no questions. How old are you? And those are, to me, equally fascinating. I know a lot of people say never use closed-ended questions.
Mhm.
Like, they're bad. I look at them as almost like it's just a different type of note in music. So it's like staccato, as opposed to, so staccato means like sharp and very much pointed. So a sharp pointed question is like, do you believe in this? And if someone says no, you have as much information in that short no that you would if they talked for 2 hours about why they didn't believe something. But then that no might trigger something, the way they said no,
Mhm.
or how long it took them to say no. So
Mhm.
there's all sorts of information around that question that's fascinating.